Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate applying my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Titan Esports. We are here with the NACL Open qualifiers, and we're starting to get to those final rounds of the loser bracket. Today, we have DIH versus Gravity Gaming, and joining me is Crims. How are you doing this fine, I guess, afternoon?
Yeah, it's a nice, pleasant afternoon over here. Doing great so far. Had a great breakfast and ready for some NACL OQ every week. Just thirsting for some more games here, and of course, we're seeing Gravity play once again. Kind of almost like we're following Gravity throughout the whole OQs here, but love to see them play. Really like seeing Robbie Bob, of course, one of my favorite players in the OQs. Amazing mid laner. And they're going up against the stream team of DIH, the Esports here. Toki, what are you expecting coming out of these teams here? Because I'm pretty familiar, we're pretty familiar with Gravity, but what about D Esports?
Now, D Esports is the team that I actually managed to cast in their series versus UCI a couple weeks back. And to be completely honest, I think as a team, they're not very well meshed together. Now, granted, that was about 2 weeks ago, so maybe they've gotten a little bit better since, had a little bit more time playing together. But we know all these names. I mean, let's face it, these are some of the biggest names on Twitch for League of Legends as it is. Viper, Perry, Cat Evolved, Hamza, all super well known. And mechanically, they are strong. But my main issue for them right now is going to be Hamza and Redemption in the bot lane. I think Ajosu, who is filling in for Sagewape, so they're not going to have their main AD carry starting today for Gravity, but Ajosu and Al Calamity, they should still be a very solid matchup to Hamza. And on the opposite end, over in the top lane, I think Viper can run down basically every single top laner in the OQs, but Alorum is such an exception to that. He's very known as being that rock in the top lane, just playing all those tanks, and I believe will be able to just shut down Viper.
Yeah, very well noted Ornn player as well. Honestly, hard to really put him too far behind on the Ornn. Does a really good job coming back into these games consistently over again. The bot lane is kind of interesting because for Gravity, my read on them is they don't usually play through the bot lane. Yeah, sometimes they do, especially with Sage Wabe, but not really the biggest focus. They really like playing around the top side, playing with the Kitso Robbie Bob duo in mid lane. A lot of plays there. Kitso making a lot of plays on the top side, playing on the Lee Sin, playing on the Xin, some aggressive jungling pick. And so I think for Josu playing against Sons of Redemption, I think it should just be like easy scaling, right? If they want to go like the Corky route, they want to go the Smolder route, just sit back, relax, scale. I think they're going to be able to hold just fine. Meanwhile, Kitso just roams the top side of the map and just causes chaos, wreaks havoc, gets grubs, usual Gravity.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as I'm sure everyone here who's been following the OQs the past few years knows, Kitso and Robbie Bob, they have insane synergy. They've been playing together for so long. They know each other super well. And I think that's going to give a pretty massive advantage in this mid jungle duo as well. And then, kind of like you said, with the scaling, Hamza really likes to play aggressively, really likes those aggressive champions. Obviously, he's very famous for his Draven specifically, but uh, these teams know how to play into a Draven if they even want to give that over, because it's a free ban for them. If they do ban that, they just don't have to worry about it at all. And I'm kind of wondering if they will decide to ban that away, or if they want to try and focus their bans elsewhere.
I feel like they'll definitely. I mean, like that's something that they're noted for. Why let them play a strength? It's also kind of a counter style to Gravity if you don't want to play towards that bot side. You don't want to just free split the map, especially when if you think a Josu and Alkalamity can hold. Why not set them up with a matchup that they can basically survive in? So for the other side of the map, we obviously have Perry and Catavault in the mid lane going against Kitso Robbie Bob. Noted duo. Um, it seems to me like that's going to be the crux of this game. Toki is what's going to happen in the mid 2v2, and where are either team going to find advantage? I mean, if Perry wants to go down the bot lane, play for Hamza, I think that makes sense. But you have to make sure that, like, that it's a good setup in that bot lane, and making sure it's a good matchup. Something like Varus already makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. But either way, it's time for us to head into this draft for game number 1 between DE Esports and GV Gravity there. And it's going to be the Vi, the first ban, just removing that from Kitsuo. And again, we were talking about that synergy in the mid lane. I think that is probably the best ban to kind of start breaking up synergies.
Yeah, Vi ban very popular. I'm not sure if like that's something Gravity are going to go for right away though, Toki. Like again, I think more aggressive pick seems more Kitsuo's jam. But obviously we'll play the Vi if it's there. So there's the Pantheon ban as well. I mean, that's definitely solid ban. The real question always is like, are they going to pull out the Lee Sin? Like, is the Lee Sin coming, or are they actually going to, pick something else, more prio jungle pick instead? And there's the Draven ban, as we talked about. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the VAR is going to get banned away as well. A little bit interesting to see it banned away on the blue side.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's just straight losing a ban and not playing Varus at this point of the OQs. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just not Hamza's cup of tea. I will say, though, Hamza did have a very good game on Ezreal in that series versus UCI and Gorica Karuli, and that's a pretty solid bot lane as well. It's not an easy lane to play into, but not sure what that first
Nocturne ult on
is.
the screen here. We can't see the champion, but I'm sure production will get that for us in a second. Okay, complete blackout here. We're just gonna guess. All right, what's the first pick? Azir.
Yeah, probably. I'd actually believe that for Gravity. I mean, Robbie Bob loves that Azir.
Azir is just super strong. Okay, Jace. Okay, interesting that they go for the Jace pick. Sion coming out. Obviously, Sion does not win early against Jace. Jace does really well early. It's all about that scaling factor. And Alorum, great Sion. Makes a lot of sense. They're going with Corki. It is a flex with Robbie Bob in the mid lane. Robbie Bob does like playing the 80s mid. But we're just going to say, like, probably a Josu is going to be scaling on the Corki bot lane.
And speaking of flex picks, I'm wondering if there is some of that coming out from DIH right now as well. Because I do believe Cat Evolved also plays Jace. And Hamza and Cat Evolved both play Tristana, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of a three-way. As Robbie Bob picks Ryze, who is so strong after that last patch. This is a very dangerous champion to play into.
Yeah, with the buffs, are the buffs live? I don't think so.
Yeah, the buffs are live, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure that's right. They're not playing. They don't do tournament realm anymore.
Yep.
I forgot. So this is live. The super buffs. Strumpest was talking about, just kind of raving about how OP this champion is. Definitely is a Ryze player, saying that was Strumpest said Ryze buffs were too far. Think about that for 5 seconds. So Robbie Bob playing the new Ryze in the mid lane versus something like a Tristana, honestly, like super low range early. Great setup for a gank for Kitsuo. So I think this is a great pick for Gravity.
Yeah, but we are seeing now some pretty interesting bans coming out. The Thresh and Braum specifically from DIH. It does show they want to add a little bit of volatility over to that bot lane. They're trying to get rid of some of those safer supports, trying to keep Ajosu alive. But Nautilus still is going to be able to do it to some extent, though definitely can get punished harder than a Thresh Braum lane can if they do manage to find the angle for it.
So the options there were kind of Leona and Alistar, and D decided to go with Alistar there. Obviously, Leona is not the best into something like a Corki, so that makes a lot of sense. As the last pick here is going to be Cassiopeia in the mid lane. Hamza's picking up the Tristana in the bot side, so we're going to have an aggressive bot lane. Unfortunately, though, for an aggressive bot lane, you have no level 1 capabilities. So I think Alkalamity and Ajosu are going to have a pretty easy time actually setting up the lane for them, at least for levels 1 to 3.
Yeah, I expect they should have a pretty solid time over that bot lane, and I am a little bit worried for DIH. I think they are lacking a little bit of engage overall. Obviously, they can have a little bit with the Alistair, but that's basically only when the Flash is going to be available. And then Volibear can technically jump in with a Stormbringer, but that's not so much an engage as so much as saying, okay, we're going to fight now, but I'm not going to stop you guys from hitting back.
Yeah, and Kitso's been playing the Trundle here, but seeing that recently. So picking up again against the Volibear. Great matchup. Volibear, not even the most tanky jungler pick, kind of just a more of an all-arounder, and then Trundle just cuts that in half already. So Volibear becomes basically bear meat for the rest of the team. Just take down super fast, and then Volibear is out of the game pretty much. So a lot of stuff has to happen early for the side of the Esports here, just looking at their comp overall. There is an interesting factor of range, Toki, because both teams don't really have a great amount of range. It's really just Jace versus Corki. So this actually might be an extremely bloody game. So if that might go into a pretty big factor, because I've been talking about this lately. I'm not really a big fan of Gravity's mid games. I don't think they've gone too well. They should have been complete blowouts in my opinion. And then Gravity maybe overforce on a play. Robbie Bob's not there is kind of the biggest meme for me. He's like, hey, where you guys went for a fight? Where's Robbie Bob? Robbie Bob was on the other side of the map. And then that gives the enemy team a chance to come back in the game. And for basically any team, it's a real chance for them to actually pick up a win against Gravity that should have never happened.
Right, well, with nameplates off, which of these two drafts do you favor going into game number 1?
I think Gravity has probably got the better draft. The thing about Cassiopeia is it's really good if the enemy is forced to run into you. That is a factor in this game. But just looking at the damage capabilities of Gravity and how tanky they're going to be versus the Esports, it looks like it's going to go in their favor, especially if it gets long game scaling, which I think might end up happening in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm favoring Gravity's draft as well. I think just having that dredge line on its own and then having the Scion to follow up, it makes it a lot easier for them to find picks. Now, I think with poke and then team fights, there are some angles where DAH could play from, especially like you said, the Cassiopeia can kind of prevent them from getting onto their back line easily. But Gravity has the easier chance of finding the pick. They have the easier way of starting fights on their terms instead of waiting for DIH to run into them. So that's kind of why I'm favoring Gravity here for the draft as well. And even with the nameplates on, I think I still favor Gravity here. They've been a very solid team. So that's kind of where I'm standing here.
I think the Trundle Pillar has insane utility this game as well. Not a lot of champions that can get around the pillar super easy, just the Tristana, to be honest. So Trundle is going to be able to run down a lot of opponents. Of course, into Catavol's Cassiopeia, a bit tricky, but with the rest of the team, still can be done. And also, I think a big factor, because of the Scion, because of the Trundle, they can just go for the straight front to back. If everything else fails, just go for the straight front to back, and you guys should be able to win with just pure damage and tankiness.
All right, but with that, we are going to go to a short break as we wait for the spectator delay to come through. But as soon as we come back, it'll be game number 1 between DIH and Gravity. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. right, and we are back. It is game number 1 of this NACL Open Qualifier best of 3 between DIH and Gravity. Now, it looks like both teams are just setting up for a pretty standard 5-point defense. Though, interestingly enough, Hamza and actually Stunt on support, they're playing a little bit further back.
Yeah, they are not really trying to shake things up early. Obviously, Trundle level 1, kind of scary. No one wants to be messing with that champion level 1. Understandable. And Alstar, one of the worst level 1 champions in the game. So I do think it's pretty wise to duck the fight right now. They kind of really want to be level 3 before they do anything. So I think it makes a lot of sense here. Gravity's not trying to push the issue either. Just some safe warding across the board. We'll see what ends up being the plan. I do think playing towards the Jace early could be a great PowerPoint for the side of D Esports. So we'll see if that's going to be their pathing. It looks like they're going to have Perry path towards the bot lane instead.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the plan. Both junglers are just starting off in the top side, and they are going to be positioning over towards bot lane. And when we did cast D Esports against their series in UCI, they did try to get Hamza ahead early on. And Tristana is one of those champions that can get ahead pretty soon, as we do get a little bit of trading. But again, it's level 1. Neither one of these two teams really should be able to take the fight, at least not get any kills from it. But a lot of positioning already being gained for Gravity here.
Yeah, that is decent start.
And now over here up in the top lane, Alarim already shoving in the lane. Light My Fire already at half HP and did actually go Grasp, so we'll be able to stack that up a little bit, especially in that range versus melee matchup, half the time anyway. And Robbie Bob also winning out of the trades versus Catavolved. So right now, it just kind of seems like all 3 lanes, granted it's only slightly, are favoring Gravity.
This
now
is early.
Kitsuo could be looking for a mid lane gank.
This is such an early gank here. Catavolve is half HP. I don't think this is going to work. Robo has to flash forward for sure just to set it up. I guess they have like a decent wave position. Oh, I think they were about to go for it there.
Yeah, Dredge 9. Just
Calamity was really sick on the hooks last game here, and it looks like they tried. But right now, Perry has a huge advantage in the jungle.
Now the fight's going to be coming through. Vakin going to start autoing onto Kitsuo. Kitsuo forced to flash, but Vakin is going to follow. Just needs a couple more autos, but not going to be able to get them. But in the meanwhile, Robbie Bob gets a huge trade into Catavolved in the mid lane. So it is flash for flash, and the main thing, though, is Vakin can now try to invade. The blue buff is still available for Kitsuo, and especially with the help of Stun coming into the jungle, I don't think that they're going to be able to contest into it. Kitsuo is just going to have to give away that blue buff.
Yeah, and just waiting so long in the mid lane for a gank I didn't think was going to be very likely is paying dividends for D Esports, actually, as they make an aggressive play for their jungler at least. Meanwhile, on the bot side, level 3 here for the Tristan and Alistar. They're online. Toki, they've been activated. They can now play the game as they get that push in from the bounce back here. And in the top side, Viper and Alorum duking it out. And yeah, Sion, this is one of the matchups. Sion, you see this a lot in pro play here. Very much a survival matchup. And once Sion gets really tanky, Jace does have a hard time fighting back, or at least knocking this champion out of the game. First blood!
Yeah, First
we
Blood,
just missed it.
Yeah, they ended up diving the top lane. We're going to get a quick replay of what happened. Potentially, no, never mind. But, I mean, that's a huge play as well. Alarum has been shoving Viper down underneath that turret. Low mana, low HP. And Kitsuo did get forced off of that bot side. So they just had to go top, and that was a free play for them.
Yeah, huge for Lorm. Going to accelerate their scaling in this game here. Hook going wide again. Now Calamity just not able to land the hooks today.
Yeah, but it only takes one. But now Stud is going to be going in. Headbutt Pulverized combo. Now Ajosu is going to be safe. Just going to take a little bit of damage on the backline. But both sides will be able to reset. But with the Alistar healing, it's definitely a win for Hamza and Stunt.
Yeah, they're going to be able to sustain. As we do get that replay here, Toki. So we can see here Viper super low mana as well as HP. Kitsuo just going to go around straight through a ward. So let me assume the E into the Q setup. Yep. And I'm going to... Is there going to be a flash coming soon here?
Just a bite.
Oh, just a bite. Didn't really want to burn trade sums. I guess it makes sense. As the Jace, you'd rather be, flash up on the Scion, and being a flash down is going to make that matchup a lot more difficult.
Yeah, but we're already seeing a huge CS lead opening up in the top lane for Alarim, and kind of as expected in the jungle for Perry over Kitsuo. 11 CS in the jungle, and they will get first dragon on the side of D Esports. So at the very least, they are winning out on the objectives. They did have to give away first blood, and we even see in the top side Alarim
Oh
again
no.
just diving in, getting that kill, and this matchup doesn't get easier anymore. I mean, at some point, the Scions are going to become an immovable object, and 1-0-1 Alarim's already going to be there, at least compared to this Jace.
Yeah, we're gonna have a very tanky Scion in a couple of minutes here. Also, we're just gonna project into the future here. Probably gonna be a Grubs take as well. Robbie Bob should have a commanding lead over the mid lane. Should just be able to control that. And here we get to see it.
Viper.
Oh, and let's see, how does Alorum do it? Okay, so Viper's sticking around, wants to get this wave in, does not want to get frozen on, and is going to be promptly punished from the level 6 ding from Aloran here. And that's just well played, but
A revenge happening right now. Viper just trying to dive in, gets the grass proc, but Alarim manages to survive with 200 HP. And because no kills happened, I even holds the flash. Alarim knew the limits, didn't worry at all. So again, just trying to get the game back, and it's just not going to happen for Viper. Alarim just taking control of this top lane.
Nerves of Steel on that flash key. And yeah, Biscuit's coming in huge up there for Alorum to survive. So Grubs should be spawning soon. I think we expect that to go in the hands of Gravity. Split pushing is going to be possible for them. They do have the Trundle, who's great at taking turrets. Scion also is a capable split pusher. So we'll see if that's going to be an angle that they're going to leverage in this game here. But meanwhile, I mean, we do have a bit of a lead for actually good for D Esports. That's they got the dragon, so they can start playing towards this bot side. It's kind of that split map scenario that we see pretty often with Gravity. They're going to be playing to the top side of the map. Meanwhile, enemy team going to be playing on that bot side.
Now, who do you favor with this kind of trade and map positioning? The top side or the bot side?
I think the idea is as long as Gravity don't give up 3 dragons, it depends on what happens, right? If they keep it to just 2 dragons for D Sports, they're going to be fine. Plenty of time to scale in the game, contest the later dragons. If they get to 3-0, that's where it's going to get a bit scary for Gravity.
But now they're going in. They're looking towards Viper, and already going to be taking down around 400 HP. Now, Perry is there to try and defend against the dive, but I think at this point, Alarim doesn't even need to dive. Can just poke him out and just sit in the lane and just continue growing the CS lead and maybe even take a few plates.
But they did get all the grubs, so that is going to be a lot of potential gold for Alorum on this top side here. Perry's also going to hold the wave, so now Gravity see exactly where the jungler is, and this is just prime information for Kitsuo to dominate the map. Maybe make a play on the bot side, set it up in the future, set up vision, whatever they want to do. And it's just going very smoothly for the top side of Gravity right now.
Yeah, they're winning out hard, and the gold lead is starting to grow in their favor as well overall. They're up 1k gold. And you did mention that Hamza does have a bit of an advantage as the dredge line will land, but not going to be the full committal yet, just going to be a little bit of poke. But in the end, this CS gap isn't that large. Tristana is going to scale well into the mid to late game, but so is the Corki. So their bot lane is winning, but definitely not as hard as Alarim's winning at the top.
Right. It's a decent lead, but it's not something that's going to make up for that top difference that we're seeing right now. And about a minute in, Alorum just laying the beat down on Viper still. So a minute in, we're going to see this dragon here. If Gravity get this dragon, that is going to be amazing for them in their game state. So it's really going to be important for Hamza and Stunt to take over this bot side and really ensure that that dragon's going their way. Otherwise, this game is going to get extremely difficult for them.
Yeah, and it's going to get very difficult for them. I expect that's actually going to be the way this pacing is going to shake up, because right now, Maybe eventually Catavolve will be forced to match into a Alarim. But Light My Fire is
Yeah.
just not going to have that same level of pressure that Catavolve will be able to provide in that forecourt. And now they're looking for a potential dive. Catavolve going to be forced to flash there. And they're just getting advantages everywhere as they're even setting up for the second dragon. You were saying giving away 2 is fine, but it looks like Gravity doesn't even want to do that.
Yeah, they are able to find angles, early roam from Alcalamity to set it up with the Nautilus as well. And the position from D Sports, they're not really able to fight because they're kind of spread all across the map. They had stunt in the bot side as well, so they were not able to defend that push in the mid lane. Perry's looking for something, but again, it looks like they're getting completely boxed out here, Toki. They're not able to even step into the river.
Yeah, they're really suffering here. And I did also just get word, by the way, that the top laner isn't Viper, but McDonald's
Oh.
manager. But now the team fight going to be
Okay,
breaking
my
up.
fault.
Stunt going in with that unbreakable will, but it's still taking a decent amount of damage. But they're aiming towards Kizzle, and Kizzle just going to get taken down. The resets are there for Hamza. Has the rocket jump, doesn't need it yet. Stunt going to be able to take down Al Calamity. And with the Realm Warp, Robbie Bob does get away, but that's a 2-for-0, and the Dragon going in favor of D Esports.
All right, thank you for the correction, Toki. As yeah, D Sports picking up a huge skirmish as well as that second dragon. They do eventually make their way into the river here, and it is a nice collapse as they do find Gravity kind of grouped up. And I do believe Stunt makes a huge play to start this off, but Josie gonna get knocked back. And right here, all their attention is focused on the Stunt who's gonna pop the ultimate. And look at how much damage this Alistar absorbs. 159 heal on top of that, just going to extend it. And Kitso is nowhere near tanky enough at this point in the game. Did not get enough time to steal the stats from Perry as well. And they're just going to keep knocking down the members of Gravity here.
Yeah, but there's a team fight in the picture happening. In the meanwhile, in the top lane, they were able to get the kill Alarum again with the solo Bolo. But Robbie Bob forced to flash and goes down. Kitzel forced to flash. Al Calamity super low as well. So it's a 1-for-1 on the map. But this core 4 roster for D Esports is just winning out hard at this point. Robbie Bob is really starting to get shut down.
Yeah, I caught sleeping at the wheel there as I was analyzing the current moment is developing here. And this is where a lot of the times Gravity do make some mistakes, right? They're going to go for some unadvised engages, or they're caught extending, pushing where they shouldn't be. And teams have taken advantage of Gravity at this point. So it is going to be on D Sports if they can continue this, because they've evened it up in gold. And right now they need to even it up in that map pressure, as we have it playing back here again, Toki.
Yeah, Catavolve just going to be running down into Robbie Bob, just trading back and forth. But immediately, Vaken just trying to find the proper angle to go in, won't be able to get it. But Stunt is going to be here before Al Calamity, and will even be able to tank the dredge line. And then Catavolve has nothing more to be scared of, can just free DPS. And with a Stormbringer Vaken, they just have more health and more and better positioning for this team fight. So they do end up coming out on top.
Oh, the re-engage Robbie Bob. I mean, look, Gravity did not need to walk back into re-engage that fight, giving Stunt perfect angle back into the fight as well. This Alistar is paying off dividends. Right now, great engages, really providing early game tankiness that not a lot of other supports can provide. Nautilus is not able to do the same thing. And so right now, Stunt looking like they are the one controlling the map versus Al Calamity.
Yeah, but one downside for them right now is 2 of the kills out of their 3 did go onto this Alistar. And that's not going to scale up quite as well. But now, top lane dive getting set up. It's still going to be a while before the wave is there. And McDonald's manager is still going to be sitting there, maybe trying to delay. But now the dredge line is going to land. Hum's already low. Stunt going to be the target. But now TP is coming through. Everyone is so low in this bot side. And Al Calamity going to be the sacrificial lamb here. But the dive does come through in the top lane. They get first turret as the Josu's still getting dove. Catavolve wants this. Will be able to land with the petrifying gaze and gets out. Huge dive coming in. Very valuable TP, but again, it's still being answered on the top side. And now Vaken just trying to trade with Alarin, but Kisso is here. They have the pillar, has the subjugate, just getting with the bonks with that club, but the Stormbringer going to be able to get Vaken out to safety. And that is just going to be the end of that play. But have fun analyzing all that.
I mean, a lot just happened in such a short period of time. Gravity are kind of try to get this, but it looks like the esports are going to be able to contend. They're sticking around. They have a TP coming from Alorum, who's on a decent angle. If they try to push up too far, the function
Oh, but the
come in.
dredge line does land, and Stunt does not have Unbreakable Will. Is kind of squishy right now, and Alarm coming in from behind while they do get everything else. And if they're only going to be able to knock out Stunt, but in the meanwhile, Kitsuo goes down, Calamity goes down, and Hamza just jumping around. Robbie Bob behind enemy lines trying to kite it out, but there's just nowhere left to go. One more hit for the explosive charge, and Hamza is on a rampage, has so many kills, has so much gold. And D Esports, like you predicted, they're coming out strong in this mid game.
Yeah, catching Gravity yet again. And despite the TP from Alarm and Ajosu getting there, just not in position for a fight, just surrounded Robbie Bob and Kitsuo there, and they're going to go down yet again. And this is now going to be Dragon spawning in 10 seconds. And it does look like D Sports have better position for this Dragon. And remember what I said, Toki, 3 dragons for D Sports is actually a very good position to be in, plus a gold lead. Gravity might be in trouble.
It's going to be a very tough spot for them. And I mentioned that Stunt didn't have Unbreakable Will for that fight in the top side, as pretty solid trading coming back and forth. But McDonald's manager are going to be able to dodge away using that wall really effectively. But Alarm should still be able to get this kill. Just needs a little bit more time. With the grass proc as well, just needs one more auto. But actually getting kited away. And Alarm still trying to chase. Will be able to get the slow. And with the flash, actually going to get dodged away. So McDonald's manager will be able to get away safely, even baits out the flash, but they're not even going to try contesting the Dragon in the bot side in the meanwhile. I think without Alarm, it's just too difficult.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Scion. It is destroying the McDonald's manager up in topside. Might be demoted to, grill tech very soon. But they are distracting such a strong front line for Gravity. And so with that Alarm, it's hard for them to contest walking to the river here, as we are going to get a bit of a replay of top lane shenanigans here. But we have an interesting situation activated here, Toki. The 3 dragons on deck for D Esports, as well as having a Cassiopeia. And so, yeah, that's just a lot of pain and punishment. But having the Cassiopeia in this situation, if you get on top of Dragon and you're in position, everyone from Gravity is forced to walk into you. This is a replay again, yeah. There were a lot of replays back to back to back, but we already knew. We remember. We remember what happened. Nice dive from Cat Evolve. But that Cassiopeia, Cat Evolve now, having a situation where Gravity are going to be forced with their short-range characters to walk in as we have a fight brewing in the bot side.
Yeah, it looks like they've managed to catch out onto the support. Calamity with a Stormbringer, and again, it's just going to go over to Hamza. The kills are going in the right place. They will be able to trade it out on the top side with Alarm and Kitsuo. And I believe they do have the Rift Herald. So this is going to be a trade in favor of Gravity, assuming they can get away after this. But the split push is strong for them. And Kitsuo even going to be riding the Herald in, does bring in a little bit more DPS. And they're not going to stay for the tier 2, but it's still a solid 1-for-1 trade across map. But they get the extra little bit of damage on the tier 2.
Decent little cross map there. Would have liked more time to knock down that turret, of course. Kitsuo going to Karen jungle. Might have been a bit too greedy. Cat Evolved on the tails of Lorem. But right now, we have a very important timer on our screen. That 3 minutes is either potential doom or a sigh of relief for Gravity. Because, again, Cassiopeia plus the Alistar on the Dragon is such a deadly combo. If they get any control of the river, that is going to be a soul, or it's either going to be a really good fight or D Esports here. And this is not expected, Toki. This is not what is the status quo. Gravity should be in a commanding lead. They have always had a really good early game. They've made mistakes in the mid game, but this is just such unexpected result. 20 minutes in, D Sports up gold, 3 dragons. And yes, they have some problems, but I mean, I would take it if I was their team right now.
I mean, for sure. The issue is that their Jace is pretty far behind, but I mean, Jace does catch up in the late game, does scale super well. So this isn't a champion that you rely on to just win hard early. This is someone that can start playing later on in the game. So DE Esports, they're definitely happy with the current state of the game. And even if they do end up losing 1 or 2 dragons afterwards, they will always have the threat of Soul available. And I think that's going to be the real dangerous spot. Interesting to see all this trading happening because I don't think Alarim even really cares. Just takes a little bit of damage. And
Yeah,
I think Grass Proc basically out heals most of that as long as Alarim can hit 1 auto.
one auto for extreme heal here. Gets well. I mean, they're really trying to abuse the Jace on the side of Gravity, which is great. They're one winning lane, trying to send that home to victory here. As it looks like Volibear, as well as the rest of D Esports, are trying to take control of the river. They're here early.
Yeah, they're bringing 4 down, and now it looks like Alarim going to be the target, but it is super tanky. And it looks like Alarim wants to go in instead. They're aiming again on a McDonald's manager. McDonald's manager is going to go down, but now Hamza is here. Hamza is the one with the gold, and Vakan is currently trying to hold them low stunned as well. But Robbie Bob is here. Stormbringer coming out, but there's nowhere to go. Just going to get taken down. Perry shut down by Robbie Bob, and that is an excellent place to have your gold. And now they can take this bottom turret, and Dragon's going to be spawning in 36 seconds. This could be an excellent time to get your vision, get the positioning, and maybe delay the soul from going over to DE Esports. But it looks like Stun actually going back in. They have the dredge line, and now Hamza goes in as well, gets hit by everything else, but it's just kind of being able to kite back without Calamity going to be the target, and a free pass are going to use the rocket jump, and now Stun again just tanking up everything. Robbie Bob is still alive. We'll try to back away. Josu now going to be joining into this fight. And just so much damage in the backline. But again, McDonald's manager has the TP, has respawn, will come back, and it's an
Toki just clipped out of the universe right there because what a turnaround. That is a chaotic fight. With all these short range characters, it's just going to be action nonstop. They're going to be able to pick up the soul after all of that. And now Gravity Esports just extremely behind in the Dragon game. Elder coming up soon. It does look like they are going to have potential later to go for the Elder here. And so what looks like is going to be a decent catch onto Alorum does go sideways with Jace getting caught out early. Meanwhile, topside, they are going to be getting an objective on the map as we keep going here. And yeah, so Vakan, not the best engage. However, Gravity are going to overextend this. Meanwhile, on the top side, it looks like they're starting to get contested. TP's coming in. Alorum's here. Do they get the smite? A huge fight, and it is going to go over to Perry. They're going to have the Bear pick as they continue going through Gravity. Hamza picking up another kill. Can they clean up this fight? It looks like Gravity are going to back off as well. So double fights going on. I'm not going to be able to do Captain Sparkles and follow both at the same time, but I'm just going to go ahead and do my best here as Soul going to be picked up as well as Atakan. And it looks like Stunt's looking for another engage. Alorum dropping super low. I thought we had Toki here. I do not know what happened. We'll probably get an update. I don't even know if you guys can hear me as we continue to go on. Alorum super low is going to fall. Alkalami dropping as well. Josu trying to make the heroes play, but it's not going to be. It's Robbie Bob falling next. Double kill for Hansa. And it's looking like D Esports are going to win this game. Now the commanding lead. Gravity again getting caught out, and look at Catapult and the Cassiopeia. Hamza as well on the Tristana. No deaths on this bot side. Complete disaster for Gravity. We said that they should be able to hold. Does not look like that is the case, as they are going to be looking for a win now. 7k up now with the extra turrets being dropped. 4 minutes away from Elder. Not sure if we're going to need to wait 4 minutes for this game to end, but we'll see what DE Sports have planned to close out this game. As I did get confirmation for production. Toki's internet did drop. What an opportune time to just absolutely blow up the internet. Amazing team fight from DE Sports there. Just Toki's internet could not handle it. So just give me for now. Try to do my best to hold both roles here. As it looks like Baron's on the table for the side of DE Sports. They're setting it up. They got pushed in the mid lane. trying to hold off Alorum for now, who's the saving grace of Gravity. Stunt making some deep wards here. So it looks like they're going to be able to get in position on the side of D Esports if they want to pull in Gravity towards their Cassiopeia, Tristana, Alistar, which again is such a winning formula for the side of D Esports. They've been really using that to great effect here. They're going to start off this Baron, and now that's going to force Gravity to walk into them. Exactly what D Esports want. So they don't have to go for a smite fight. Gets those here. Does not have flash. Does not get the opportunity to steal it away. So no smite fight. Correctly calling out the flashless Trundle there. And so with Baron, that should be the victory. Just need to push down the lanes, play the macro game a little bit, and they should be able to pick up all the outer turrets into that Elder. Stunt here. Just escorting the wave in. Humza's going to be able to make their way onto this turret here. And it looks like Robbie Bob, as well as Light My Fire, down in the bot side. McDonald's manager trying to hold with the Baron. And we have the collapse coming through. It looks like they're going to start off with that Volley Bear, going to ult out. And with Stunt, CC, Hums gets another kill. Now moving on to the turrets. And it looks like the base is going to be broken from the side of Gravity as well. Top side, Cat Evolve working their way through. And it looks like Robbie Bob is holding off this Jace. But it won't matter if the base falls. Hamza now working onto the last turrets. Alarum trying to defend, but it's just one Scion and they can only CC so much. A bunch of damage on the stunt, but that's not going to win you the game. Now Calamity does land a hook. They're turning it around now. Cat Evolved is taking a lot of damage. Is firing away, is healing off the turret, but it's not enough healing. The damage just cutting through. They have the DPS. Cat Evolve with the double kill, and now it is gonna be a game 1 victory. 24 kills to 8. They didn't need the Elder. Sub 30-minute game. D Esports, it was a little rocky at the start, but they won through their bot lane, and the Cassiopeia pick becomes huge in the end. Gravity just got out-skirmished, and there was no front to back. There was not a clean game. D Esports take full advantage, and they will pick up a victory. So congratulations to the stream team, setting themselves up for a nice win here in this series. But it's just a BO3, as we are going to go ahead and send into a break and see how this series develops.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back for game number 2 between the Esports and Gravity. I'm Ozzy, joined by Crims here, filling in for some play-by-play action today. As Pantheon is going to be the first ban away, Crims, why don't you give me a little bit of a recap of what happened last game?
Well, D Esports did in fact get 4 dragons in a row, out skirmish Gravity in the mid game to victory, despite the fact that Alorum was giving McDonald's manager the slappening up in the top side. So there was a huge difference between the top and the bot. D Esports able to carry through their bot side off of Stunt, and Hamza cat evolved through these skirmishes, and unexpectedly, to the shock and dismay of many long-time NACL OQ enjoyers and viewers, did get the first win of the series here. So it looks like we have some draft adjustments from the side of Gravity, some new picks being banned here, and the first pick being available, Azir still open.
Yeah, they're going to opt for the Vi here. Vi also very, very strong. You could have first picked either one. I think either one is a fine first pick here. Also, seems like Talia is left open, but they are going to opt in for Xayah here for Gravity, so curious to see if they're going to play potentially by Talia on the side of Dib. But that being said, Xayah Rakan going to be the lock-in here for Gravity. I'd say that's a pretty strong pickup, especially because of how good Rakan is. It's also a really solid answer into any potential dive comp with Vi.
Yeah, also Rakan and Vi very good at diving themselves. As we have the Hunza Ezreal being picked up. Something that Toki was talking about before he was taken elsewhere. And the classic Rakan counter of the Leona come through. So it honestly, D Esports just getting complete counter pick in the bot lane. Seeing as how that's how they won the last game, you'd be pretty happy as a D fan here. As Sejuani gonna be picked up here for Gravity. So I would say one of Kitso's less aggressive champions in the kit. And we'll see if they pair it up with any melee champions in the mid lane. I'm sure they're going to pick some nice combos on the top side with the Lorem here. But right now, I mean, I think D Sports are not in a bad spot. They might have a tough time getting onto Xayah, but they have plenty of tools to force that ultimate early and then sink their teeth in to Xayah and get the kills.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Also, both Talia and Diazy are going to be banned away from both sides here, so not going to have those mid laners available. That's kind of something I'm a little interested about. I would maybe have preferred to see either one come out for Ezreal instead, but Sylas going to be the pick in here by Gravity, going to be played by Robbie Bob. So kind of going to come down to D's. It's actually going to be the Milk. So you do have that potential. Obviously, it's not necessarily the best matchup for Mel because you don't really get that much usage out of your W in the matchup, but it's going to actually be the mother-daughter duo coming in from D here between Yamdasa and Mal. So
I haven't seen that one before. Is there any other mother-daughter? Might be it. Unfortunately, this does open up the Renekton counter on top of Renekton Sejuani for into, I believe, who Viper now playing, subbing in. Viper now playing the top side, so Viper is here playing the Mbessa. This is a very difficult matchup. Again, Gravity looks like they're gonna try to win on the top side of the map through Robbie Bob, through Alorum, and have their bot side, Josu and Alkalamity, try to weather the storm here. In terms of this game, they have a much stronger top side. Alarm, huge potential in this game to go crazy on the into the Mbessa, Leona, and Vi. Lots of tankiness, not super high damage carries on the backline. So could be an amazing Alorum game. Of course, Kitso is going to be roaming up to the top side to play for him. So that's what I'm expecting. This might be a tougher game for Josu and Alkalamity on the bot side, but like, you know, Gravity should be able to have a very strong early game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your consensus here. I do actually kind of like this topside draft from Gravity for sure. And I also think that them being able to play Xayah Rakan rather than just forcing Xayah to be by herself with no Rakan gives them some added strength in the bot lane as well. So it makes it a bit scarier to try and punish the Xayah earlier on in the match, which is something that's pretty common when you lock in Xayah early. So with that Rakan pickup, it gives them some necessary strength to alleviate some of Xayah's pressure points in the early stages of the game. And for D side, right, I really need to see how this top side's going to play around just how dominant Gravity's is in draft. Obviously, right, like the D players are phenomenal here. Viper in the top lane, right, Parry jungle. Cat Evolved in the mid lane. All phenomenal players, but still, I definitely want to give the draft advantage here to Gravity. I think they have just such a fundamentally strong draft. It even answers a lot of problems that their comp could have in the future, right? Obviously, you realistically are going to be Vi-ulting Xayah. That's kind of like the only really big target for you, besides maybe the Sylas. But Xayah can self-peel herself. But Gravity could struggle a little bit into the poke here. They are a shorter range comp, so they do need to be a bit mindful if they don't have the positioning around objectives.
Yeah, quite a bit of short range. Some other things to note is obviously Gravity's kind of just dive heavy. They're just all going to run at you. Nothing else really they're going to do. And it's just going to be on a Josu to deal as much damage while not being killed by the reciprocal dive of the Esports, which is, Leona, Vi, and Ambessa. So in terms of who has more survivability in this game, it's going to be the Ezreal versus the Xayah. Not looking good for either. Honestly, this is a hard AD carry game. Both AD carries are just going to be target number one. So it's really going to be about that front line. And right now, for me, outside of Cat Evolved getting a huge advantage over Rugby Bob lane, which could happen. I mean, there's a Vi. Mel's pretty strong in lane. And is also a counter dive champion with that reflect. So it might make it really tough to make plays in the mid lane. So I could see D Sports winning mid bot potentially here. And then Gravity will be winning on the top side. So it's really about them avoiding Sejuani, right? Can they avoid their Nectar and Sejuani in this game? If they can, it's going to look good for them. Otherwise, Gravity with the peeling of Rakan going to have a tough time getting onto Xayah the same way Gravity can get onto Ezreal.
Yeah, and another thing here, right? Also, if Xayah is forced to use her ultimate early, Ambessa still exists, right? We've seen this time and time again in these open qualifier games where, excuse me, Ambessa waits to use public execution and just completely wrecks your backline because they've already used their self-peel tools, and she just gets in there and just one-shots your AD carry, no contest. That's something that's been a bit of a problematic thing for some open qualifier teams. So we'll have to see if Gravity can play around that fact, right? If Xayah's going to have her ultimate forced early, how they are going to react if Xayah ever gets gone on by Ambessa. Because as you said, right, this Gravity comp is just dive. And it's basically just Xayah's solo backline really going to be by herself there. So very hard game for Josu. I think also a pretty difficult game here for Hums as well. I think if there is a world in which the Xayah can live, she should be good because a lot of D's strengths is actually having to dive in. So she will be able to stack up those feathers and get quite a lot of usage here from them when they do inevitably try to go on the Xayah.
Yeah, I think the biggest worry is that range difference that you're talking about on the side Gravity. They could easily poke out the Xayah, burn her ultimate early, make Xayah go back, and that's a lot of damage output from Gravity being taken away. Xayah has more AoE damage than Ezreal, so really punishes the divers a lot heavier than Ezreal can. Who's more of a survivor, cutting back the whole way and making you overextend to get the Ezreal, versus Xayah just kills you. She kills you before you kill her. So interesting that we kind of have a backline. No one's really going to appeal for the backline except for maybe Rakan. Everyone else just going all in. It's just going to be a huge brawl, just like game number one. And just to recall back to it, the Esports did pick up the win. They out-skirmished Gravity, who I've noted multiple times in the mid-game makes some unwise decisions over force, maybe just trying to mechanically outplay their opponents instead of making maybe a more stable decision, you could say. So if that happens again, Gravity up against the wall, this is your last chance now. And if you fall here, these are some real high expectations that you were supposed to meet that just go to the wayside.
Yeah, again, you nailed it perfectly. Gravity back against the wall here. This game matters just like any game, but more specifically, you want to keep your stakes alive here. So you definitely want to try and pick up this win for Gravity. D have a nice little bit of a cushion thanks to their game 1 win, but still you'd like to close it out early if you're D, I would imagine. Definitely don't want to throw another game. It's actually interesting that you brought up Gravity kind of trying to skill check their opponents here, as that can be a factor. Obviously, it's happened in one game. I think Gravity's a more than good enough team to dial it back in and try to kind of avoid those plays. But that could be a factor as we are loading up onto the Rift. of this best of 3 series between D Esports and Gravity in Game 2. Will Gravity have enough to bring it back in this series, or are they going to fall short? Only time will tell. Crims, I'm excited for this game. Hopefully you're as excited as me.
Yeah. So just one round closer to matching up with Jolly Rogers or UCI Esports here. Gravity, one of the teams expected to make it out at least to round 9, kind of somewhere, something that people would expect, of course. Round 8, round 9, matching into Jolly Rogers here. So, in my opinion, this would be a pretty big upset if they do lose this game, and not to mention 0-2 as well here. So we'll see Robbie Bob, a star mid laner, very well known player here in the tier 3 scene, does a really good job in the mid lane. And we'll see if Robbie Bob on this Silas pick can bring it back for Gravity.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie Bob, really phenomenal player, especially because we followed Gravity a little bit here in past weekends. So I have faith that he's going to be able to pop off. He's also not, again, in a pretty decent matchup here because Mel really gets almost no value of the W. Can't ever really use it for anything besides just flat out damage. So, because yeah, you use the W wrong. Because actually, hold that thought. Engage in the bot lane. And Josu already forced a cleanse. Heal's going to come out. Flash forward from Hums, and he still finds first blood. And that is not how you want to start your Zyra Khan lane in your level 1, especially with how dominant your level 1 is as Zyra Khan. And they go down early.
Josu holding on to the flash as well. Meanwhile, Hamza does expend the flash, but you're an Ezreal, so not as big of a deal. And I do think Ezreal level 1, a bit underrated. People do sleep on this champion. But with the passive stacks and your Q, there is quite the damage output, and they were not ready for it on the side of Gravity. So unfortunate for the sub AD carry of Josu going down there. As yeah, the Ezreal is probably one of the power points of the esports side, so that is not what you want to see if you're a fan of Gravity. Nice counter from Catavault here in the mid lane.
Yeah, so Robbie getting a little low here should be okay, but really nice trade from Catavault there. But no W now. E is going to miss from Robbie Bob. Robbie Bob in trouble now. One more auto secures the kill for Catavault, and he's gonna go down. That honestly, that one single E miss is really what
Yeah.
made the difference. So Robbie Bob,
Gravity just lost 2 players. The soloed, double kill in the bot lane, whatever. 2v2 kills, not a solo bolo exactly. But Gravity losing in the early game here to D Sports, picking up a kill in the mid lane and the bot lane. 2 of the lanes I highlighted, or Sports can win the game through, already off to an early lead. It's kind of like a Lorem. The last one up is the one who can bring this game back for Gravity, and it really should be able to. Give Viper a tough time and have a huge lead on this Renekton pick.
yeah, I mean, still their comp is still very strong though. So as actually another engage in here from Robbie Bob gets a pretty favorable trade here, but nice trade back from Catavault. But still, regardless, they can bounce back. Their comp is very, very, very strong together. Especially moving into the mid game portion, just moving around with like Sejuani. Between the Renekton is E going to miss from Robbie Bob. So very aggressive play coming from Robbie Bob in this lane. Even after the solo kill, Lorem falling a little bit low. Gonna get chased off of the wave by Viper here, but overall, just gonna heal back up with that health potion. But Ambessa in a nice little favorable spot in this lane right now, forcing Renekton off of the wave. Shouldn't make him lose any CS here at the moment, but Alorum still getting traded on by Viper here. That's really, really solid gameplay coming out from Viper to force Alorum lower and lower in this lane.
Yeah, Lorem is now behind in HP. The wave is pushing towards his turret, so doesn't have to do anything crazy. Probably wants that cannon, but gonna be paying for it.
Yeah, as he gets low, uses the slice and dice though to get himself out. So is okay. Obviously, Ambessa a little gated by her CDs, but Robbie Bob looking aggressively onto Catavault here in the mid lane. But Drake number 1 gonna be started up here for Gravity. it is going to be this Hextech Drake. That's actually going to be quite nice for the comp, but hold that
Oh,
thought,
dive.
Alorum getting dove. But guess what? Viper falling low. One more tower shot will do it.
Oh!
Alorum finds a solo kill on the top side, but this team fight in the bot lane, Sejuani falls down already, and that is going to be the Drake for D at the very least. I can't believe Alorum finds that solo kill under his own tier 1 there. As what a monstrous play coming out from Alorum, but also kind of a slip up from Gravity as a whole in the spot lane is actually also a kill in the mid lane onto Robbie Bob. As the whole map is just breaking open. Everybody is fighting everywhere all at once.
Everywhere fighting all at once. Great description of this series so far. And yeah, it's kind of similar to game 1. Just too much action being jam-packed into a couple of minutes there. And unfortunately, Robbie Bob 0-2 on the Silas. Not having a great time. Some misplays here. And so Gravity, I mean, they're just super split on this dragon. Just walking straight up on a warded brush as well. Not even level 6, like their champions kind of need more time. They really want their ultimates to be playing around the dragons in the first place, and so just a completely unadvised dragon contest, as well as getting caught pushing the mid lane. So Gravity, this is kind of just a complete breakdown of their ability to play here. And D Esports are punishing them thoroughly with a commanding lead. And honestly, if this is going to go like game 1, they're just going to pick back to back.
Yeah, and also, right, like Alorum at least finds a kill on the top side, so alleviates some pressure from Gravity, but
I like how you keep wording as finds a kill rather than Viper giving Alarm a kill.
hey,
Nice little dentage.
hey, you know, we gotta paint it well, you know, gotta paint it well and nice and easy. But
I think you're
Invade
painting
coming
a
in.
little too well. You're a little too much interpretation, you know.
Perhaps, but Invade not gonna be successful here from Kitsuo, unfortunately. As really nothing to be done. Looking for maybe potentially a top play onto Viper off of the misplay there on the top side. So nothing to be found just yet from the Sejuani. Sejuani looking a little sad in this game, I would imagine. But they are going to potentially think about a dive. Call it off. As Grubs are going to be spawning up here. This will probably be our biggest point. As Perry getting gone on now. Really nice
nice
CC
stun.
though. Yeah, that's just a dead parry off of the stolen season desist. Cat Evolved now being looked at. Gonna be slowed up here. Nice E though. Will prevent any trade back onto himself. As Robbie Bob, a little low here, but is going to be okay, is Silas. So this should net them the Grubs off of an excellent find on the parry. Gravity fighting back.
Yeah, so now D Esports fighting into the strength of Gravity here. This is a little sketchy. Perry's not here just yet, but it does look like Ezreal and it looks like support is coming up from the side of D Esports. So they
Yeah,
have to get
Viper
out of
wants
here.
a public execution, gotta go in. The Grand Entrance gonna knock up 2 here. Viper still getting stunned up, but there's no damage to be found. They find the next Drake, or Grub, excuse me. But Kitsuo's gonna fall low. Alorum gonna find not
Oh, it's
even
close.
Viper, and it's a complete disaster as they only pick up the Leona, and they don't even get all 3 Grubs there. Well played from D Esports to find another win.
So their bot lane able to just roam up, make the difference at that fight there. Otherwise, I believe Gravity probably gonna win that one. Maybe even get 3 Grubs instead. As Bob playing aggressively here in Hunza in the mid lane. So they did pick up 2 Grubs, which is pretty decent. They do lose Alorum, so honestly, that is really evens up the trade for the side of D Esports here. Bot side, they do lose a plate, but honestly, nothing too bad.
Yeah, like we can watch this replay where it starts off, right? It's basically just Viper 1v3. Uses the public execution here in just a second,
just
right as
such a
stun gets
pig.
into range. As, yeah, just really solid play so far. The Grand Entrance, they just really don't have the damage for this, right? Like, they're trying to kill such tanky targets, and there's no damage. Robbie Bob very late to join this as well, from the mid lane. So they just lacked damage, and, you know, they lose 1 Grub, and trade back. At least, at the very least, they get the Leona kill. Could have been worse, but...
Yeah.
Not getting, like, the kill onto Viper there is a bit unfortunate for Gravity. Maybe it might have made the difference if Robbie Bob was there earlier, because again, it really looked like they were lacking damage there.
That's part of the problem Gravity's been having with their cohesion, their synergy as a team. They find like good engages like individually or on their own, but as like a team-wide decision, it does get sketchy a couple times here. And again, fighting with that Robbie Bob probably was a difference maker in that CC that Silas adds plus the damage. So they're kind of more of like a they're kind of more like a drain tank situation with the Renekton, just going to be in the front line, unkillable, slowly whittling everyone down. So they didn't have enough burst damage to clear Viper. Dragon's up. I believe D Sports should be in good position. Already pushing mid lane, knocking down some plates with the Ezreal. Getting a plate for Hamza, who again having a great game alongside Cat Evolve. So carries from D Esports are in position to basically win this game for D Esports.
Yeah, they're in a very favorable position here, but Drake gonna be locked down here for D number 2 of this match, as Kitsuo getting collapsed on, needing to use the charge over the wall. But still, Leona is going to make the roam up here, so no dive potential, gonna be on to Viper, just kind of being patient here, being a very good support.
That's a
for his
QMax
top laner.
Silas right there.
That is a
Again, he
QMax
is
Silas.
crazy.
Honestly, I don't mind it. I think it's quite good,
Into a poke
especially in the
champion?
mill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of
in the
course.
mill, you definitely don't want to just try to poke back. So, I will say, I think Gravity's comp kind of struggling a little bit here to find around. So far, it's kind of felt like Sejuani's really not made like those really impactful plays around the melee champions, besides catching off Perry in the top side there. But still, again, hey, it's
Ooh.
not like that synergy ever goes away in the game. So still opportunities here to be found for Gravity overall. That being said, Robbie Bob still playing as aggressive as ever, despite getting punished for it twice. And that's what I want to see. You know, I want to see the gumption.
Yeah, not gonna back down. Definitely will not give up. Rory Bob, which is a diehard warrior, just gonna keep fighting on through here. 3 minutes away from the next dragon, where again, D Sports so far commanding the map, have a great dragon lead. Alkalami gonna go in, does miss the grand entrance.
And they're going to use up the ultimate here. Ultimate coming in from Mel. Going to just straight up kill Al Calamity. TP behind from
Alarm's here.
Alorum, though. Needs to watch out. Perry going to go down for sure. Stunt now being looked at. Flash forward from Robbie Bob. Going to pick up the Leona kill with the chain. As guess what? Also, public execution going to be missed there thanks to the Xayah ultimate. And Gravity find a much needed win after unfortunately having a rough start in this early game, but they turn it around right there on an overcommit from D.
They're going for a good bait, and they end up biting here. Alarm TP basically is the play, is the plan here. Nice ward from the back, try brush there, and they kind of perfectly bait them in. And you can see here, once Alorum gets onto Cat Evolve, there's just not much they can do in this situation. And with the Eclipse, Alorum has quite a bit of burst damage now. As you can see, Cat Evolve tries to counter block the stun as well. And even without Kitsuo adding additional CC, just completely 100 to zeros that Mel. And again, Alorum is set up for a prime position to counter to carry this game here. So more gold in their pocket is a good look for Gravity here.
Yeah, big thing there is they used so much like a lot of their burst went into Al Calamity, and then as soon as like the fight started breaking down for them, they just had no damage left over. Because they actually opted to use the Mel ultimate basically to secure the recon kill as fast as possible. So didn't get a lot of damage out of that outside of that, and unfortunately for D, gonna be a resulting team fight loss there. But Herald spawning up here in just a second, as Drake also spawning up here in a minute 30. As looks like both teams, at the very least, positioning to get vision control for this Herald. I think Herald's been a pretty good objective, but they're looking to catch out Cat
Ooh.
Evolved here. But flash forward from Al Calamity, gonna miss the grand entrance as well. Quickness not going to be able to be used. Is now they're getting collapsed on. Vault Breaker going to be used by Perry. Out Calamity going to fall low. Gets one shot. As Robbie Bob forced to go under tower, but they're committing onto the Sejuani. Sejuani going to get executed here by Mel as well. And Gravity are the ones that find themselves in a bit of an overcommitted spot. Will lose this Herald as well. Crims, what can Gravity do now to find a way back and start getting some kind of real estate in the map?
Gravity caught just trying to overforce the engage. Well played by Catvolve. Disengages the whole fight. Now Gravity overextended, and the collapse is absolutely immaculate from their side. They even get Kitsuo, who I thought was going to be free to leave. That situation was not the case, and so that is going to be the Rift Herald. Dragon spawning in 18 seconds, so they're a little bit behind on the dragon, but with the Rift Herald, can make up that time, no problem. Meanwhile, it looks like they're trying to set up a kill onto Alorum here.
Or I'm going to
in
use the
position.
Dominus. Chasing down Viper here is going to be lower. Public Execution going to come out. Is going to catch Alorum, though, as Flash away from Alorum means he is going to be safe for now. But really nice double solar flare, and it's just going to be the meat grinder, unfortunately, for Gravity, as both Kitsuo and Al Calamity going to be falling down back-to-back in the top and the bot lane right before an objective. As this will be Drake number 3 secured for D. They will at least secure the first tower of the match, but that doesn't really matter. Soul point here for D.
Yeah, they are again. Soul point versus Gravity here as well. Not as big of a lead as game number 1, as Robbie Bob does trade for top turret. Josu really having just getting alone time with Ezreal, just getting beat up by the range difference is such a sad situation to see. But not much you can do if you're in Josu's position. Not really being afforded the opportunity to make any plays. Evolve as well going to push down this bot side turret. And so now there is going to be a nice map lead for the side of D Esports.
Yeah, so far, Perry gonna use the Vault Breaker to go in. Cease and desist onto Alorum. Not enough damage yet to commit any kill. Perry very close, goes down. Stunt now in trouble as well. Will fall down as Robbie Bob TP's in. Cat Evolve now very, very, very low, but Robbie just barely living through the Mel Execute. Hums using the Arcane Shift away. This fight is so close. And it looks like Gravity gonna take this one. As Dominus popped by Alorum, Cat Evolve playing a little too aggressively, and really, really, really nice Zhonya's by Robbie Bob there. Excuse me, it's the Seeker's Arm Guard, not Zhonya's completed just yet. But just barely buys himself enough time to not get executed. As Gravity find a very, very, very nice win there. Will maybe come at the cost of their top tier 2. As honestly, I'll just let you talk me through this. What happened?
Well, this is the skill check that Gravity are very famous for here, and they're going to be able to come out on top. So this is one of the first times where it is going to be D Esports making an aggressive play onto a tanky member of Alorum here, and they are just not able to get the kills. They're all grouped up, and it's just a perfect situation for Renekton to not only heal up with the Cull of the Meek, but also deal damage. And it is going to be punished by Robbie Bob on the escape here. But yeah, overforce from the side of D Esports. I don't even think they needed to go play, to be honest. I don't see the reason for it. And they are going to get punished and give Gravity a chance to come back into this game.
Yeah, and as you said, right, definitely didn't need to do it, especially I think once Renekton commits slice and dice over the wall, just let him leave. You know, you got your poke, right? You're just taking control of their jungle. But it wasn't good enough for D, and unfortunately, will be a loss for them there. But they are going to find themselves a tier 2 in mid lane. Tier 2 and top did not fall off of that play, so still D in a very favorable position in this match right now. As really nothing spawning is a pause coming through. We'll have to see what that one's about. We'll let you know when we do. Do know, if we ever know. That is. But 2 minutes 30 seconds on this Drake. It is soul for D, and you know I have been talking about it. Gravity looking like they're missing a bit of damage right now, and that Mountain Soul won't help them at all, Crims.
Yeah, the Mountain Soul would definitely make their position a lot more difficult. Ajosu already behind in damage, and that's just going to be a compounding factor. Hums is also 2 items spiked already versus Ajosu, and Ezreal, not a crit-based champion, gonna spike earlier. So for like another dragon fight coming in 2 minutes, it is not looking good in the 80. Meanwhile, like All Calamity is not really tanky. Full Enchanter build. Well, not full Enchanter build, but like a half Enchanter build coming out. Not going to be able to match up to the Leona, so has to play very safe and careful to not get locked up and CC'd from Cat Evolved or from Stunt. So it's really we're looking to the top side of the map. So uh, Kitsu not having the best game, but still is a Sejuani. At any point in time, your team can get a nice stun combo onto someone like Perry and give themselves a huge advantage in a team fight. Gravity did say that they're not really scared. They're willing to skill check, especially with Alorum being in the fight. So what I want to see for Gravity is make sure that everything is checked. They need to hit the checklist. Josu is going to be able to be at the fight, going to be able to provide the damage. The rest of the team is there to dive in, and All Calamity is basically assisting in an engage, not over forcing. And I believe that is the one of the ways that Gravity can get back game and find an advantage versus D Esports.
Yeah, and for D Esports here, right? Like they've been in the driver's seat for majority of this game. Got it started off early against with basically 2 free solo kills, just completely misplay from Gravity, right? Robbie Bob getting solo killed by Cat Evolved early. Josu also losing in that 2v2 at bot lane against the Ezreal level 1. As Alorum looking aggressively here on to Viper, but not going to find anything as he's actually forced to pop the Dominus here. Is going to be running down Viper. Is not going to lead to anything. Public execution not going to lead to anything. But Dominus forced early. Atacon potentially being looked at getting started here by D, but choose to call that one off. As still back and forth here between our top laners in this match. Both trading pretty aggressively into one another. Especially, I think Alorum really just playing super aggressive on the Renekton. Also not scared to pop the Dominus at any point to try and trade even more aggressively. So I'm ready for this match to explode one way or the other, right? At this point, it's kind of just going to come down to one team fight that'll just completely open up the map for either team. More so for D because of just how many towers they've already naturally taken in this match. But if Gravity can find a pretty decently timed win here with enough members up, they can completely open up the map for themselves. As really nice stop of back here from Hums with the True Shot Barrage. As yeah, overall, really just kind of in the dead time of League of Legends. We have 25 seconds before this soul is spawning up here for D. Gravity need to find a way in. Crims, talk me through how you'd like to see it happen.
They're probably gonna have to group up. They do want to flank angle on Alorum probably, or Robbie Bob, one of the soul laners, finding the side angle. Alorum is having a tough time pushing at that bot side because the full jungle control on the side of D is preventing this proc from playing safe by pushing up here. So they are going to 4-man down in the mid lane. Fight starts here. Can make it. Meanwhile,
Solar
Perry's
Flare going to be
starting up the
used.
jungle.
Solar Flare, Grand Entrance, not even used just yet. Quickness, gonna charm up the Leona. Leona not even gonna fall, forced to flash away. But Drake already being started here for D. It's falling very low. This one is going to be taken by D Esports. They find the soul, but Ajosu gets gone on by public execution. Cease and desist now. Sejuani forced to peel for the Zaya, and it doesn't matter. Alorum falling low, forced to flash away, and there is so much happening across the fight here. Is also Robbie Bob forced to use the Zanyas here, is going to fall down to the execute of Cat Evolved, and it is a complete disaster for Gravity. D find themselves the soul. They find themselves the win, and they're looking for this Atacon.
Yeah,
What a
this is looking
fight!
this is looking like a 2-0. Something completely unexpected here. They're gonna also pick up the Atacon on top of the soul, on top of a winning team fight here. I like this. I like this macro decision. Stop the mid lane push here. Also buy time for Perry to start the dragon and get it before Kitso is even in range. They almost lose stunt in the beginning, but the lack of damage showing here from the side of Gravity, as they're not able to kill this Leona, even with all that CC being used. And right here, where it could get a little bit sketchy, Kitsuo is not even going to be able to hit. And with the Dragon secured, all hope lost for the side of Gravity.
Yeah, also something that's kind of been sleeper to mention is Cat Evolved's usage of the E to root so many members in this fight, right? Rooted up Kitsuo, so Kitsuo had no end. And honestly, Stunt got saved by Cat Evolved rooting up a Josu, right? Like, he actually rooted up a Josu, so he literally wasn't able to put out any DPS onto the Leona at all. But they will find themselves this top tier 2. They find themselves the Atacon, of course, as well. As, yeah, D looking to make this one a quick and clean 2-0. As still threatening here around this mid lane, around this top lane. Really a lot of pressure around this top side jungle so far. Hub's coming back from a reset though, so probably will let this one fall off a little bit as they're waiting. Still looking for potential picks for Gravity, excuse me. But nothing to be found from D, so we're just going to be seeing a lot of wave bouncing back and forth here. Baron has spawned, though, as actually Kitsuo going to be gone on. Vault Breaker and Solar Flare used up. Quickness going to be used. Grand Entrance onto 2. Solar Flare stolen away. Just now used. Kitsuo going to fall thanks to the public execution from Viper. And Robbie Bob going to fall too. This could be the end of the game. Ajosu hits a nice ultimate and Blade Caller, but it doesn't matter. As guess what? Cat Evolved double kill in this fight. Baron for sure going to be taken away here, and D could potentially threaten to end off of it as well. They're not even going to send over their damage towards this Baron. They are going to get this mid tier 1 or tier 3, excuse me, and potentially this inhib. But this fight is a complete breakdown for Gravity at the worst possible time.
I mean, they just don't have enough damage. Dragon Soul plus the stats, armor stats as well. And you can see they can't kill anyone. Like, Stunt just walks under there. Ajosu was hitting the whole time, and they still don't have enough damage. Great Blade Caller, but again, not enough damage going through. And even with the turret providing backup, they are not even able to kill off Parry. And so, yeah, this is just a complete stomp from the side of D Esports. They won the early game in this game, double kills in both mid and bot lane, as well as the fact that it's command and control over the dragon.
Parry
So
getting low here. Uses the Vault Breaker, but is going to fall down almost certainly. Actually,
Oh no.
the shield is going to be enough, and it's just another disaster for Gravity. They need to find a way to hold on. This is their lifeline, but guess what? I think it's going to be gone. I think they might be sent home drowning, unfortunately, out at sea, as still D putting on the pressure now. There's only 2 members alive here. I think Gravity don't have enough to defend this. Dominus is going to be popped by Alorum in a 1v5 scenario. And this will be game number 2 taken for D Esports. Quick, clean, 2-0. They let on. They got their early lead and never let off. Regardless of any mistakes they made, they just were relentless here, Krems.
Yeah, they are able to pull off the 2-0 subs. 2 subs in game number 1. It was Parry and Viper were subbed out game number 1. Game number 2, they get them, and it looks even better with Viper on the top side. Having a little fun with that turret dive onto Alorum, but in the end, it was not enough for Alorum to carry this game here. Congratulations to the Dream Stream team of Esports. They're going to be moving on to the next round. Gravity has been eliminated. And for a lot of people in the OQs in Tier 3, this is not what we had set our sights for Gravity. This is a team that's expected to make it into the promotion tournament, or at least get very close. And they get knocked out early here by D Esports, who are on their way. There's one more matchup, and then there's Jolly Rogers, who they eventually have to play next if they want to qualify. They get to the qualification bracket. So there's still more games to come, but Gravity, again, they're getting knocked out early 2 times in a row, and with really experienced players like Robbie Bob, Alorum, they had Sagewabi Banan in this game. You're expecting a lot better finish here, and they're just not making the mark.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Gravity, right? Like, it just kind of looked like the game got out of their hands there, especially in game 2. They just lost early. Really couldn't bounce back. I think Kitsville pretty much struggled quite a lot in this game 2 for sure. Didn't really find the impact you'd really like to see with triple melee topside, or sorry, I guess double melee topside with Silas and the Renekton.
Well, Sejuani's also melee, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I guess technically, but looking at her side laners, right, between mid and top, but unfortunately, Gravity knocked out here. We'll have to see how they try and make a bounce back here, because yeah, just really dominant showing from D though. I really want to give credit. Like that game 2 was just absolutely dominant. Once they had control, they really never let it go.
yeah, only one mistake in game number 2, over forcing onto Lorem. But other than that, really looked like pretty good games from D Sports. So they're looking like they're going to be replacing Gravity as the team to be making it out of the promotion tournament. It's going to be them, Jolly Rogers, and Galaxy now probably in the running. Good to see in the future games here today and tomorrow who's going to be making it to that promotion bracket.
Yep. All right. Well, I think for us, we're gonna hit ourselves with a nice little break. We have another series coming up here, another best of 3. So stick with us. But we are going to take ourselves a nice little break. And stay tuned. I'm Ozzy, joined by Crims.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?